here live at City Hall to talk about an issue that will affect a lot of Flagstaff residents.
The mayor joins us in the studio.
And man's best friend receives some recognition of his own. Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Matt Tantow.
And I'm Imani Payne. Thank you for joining us. 56 Flagstaff families are at risk of losing their homes. Landmark Properties is planning on breaking ground at Arrowhead Village Trailer Park to build new student housing. And if approved, will uproot 56 of the park's residents.
This project has raised concerns for both the residents of the trailer park and the city of Flagstaff.
Now, because of that, the city council is facing an item on their agenda that could change the outlook for the citizens of Arrowhead Village.
Sierra Ferguson joins us live now from City Hall with the latest.
I'm here at the Flagstaff City Hall where the Flagstaff City Council is sitting down to launch a discussion about eviction ordinances. Now, what this new piece of legislation would do would be to require developers to provide some sort of reimbursement to residents who are evicted from their homes to make way for new development. Now, this would affect renters as well as mobile home owners. We talked to Michelle Thomas, a community organizer.
On a super basic level, a displacement ordinance could include a standardized system of notification, public participation, spell out developer responsibilities, and spell out a standardized system of compensation for residents that could be displaced.
I'm here with a member of the community who's come out in support of this piece of legislation. So tell me what you think makes an eviction ordinance an important thing to have in the city of Flagstaff.
Well, first of all, it's important just because right now they're kind of winging it. If this whole thing goes through, we won't have any sort of rules in place. If this happens in the future, the whole purpose of the ordinance is to make sure they have a set of rules in place so they're not winging it every time. So they make sure that the rights of the people who live in the mobile homes are upheld, those rights are upheld, and then also the responsibilities of the incoming developer are outlined clearly in the ordinance as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you for taking a minute to talk to us. Reporting live from City Hall, I'm Sierra Ferguson.
I mean, clearly the Flagstaff City Council has a full plate of issues to consider.
Definitely, and Mary Jerry Neighbor spoke earlier today with NAZ Today's Hannah Wiggins about the relocation ordinance. The mayor also addressed a new ban on using cell phones while driving.
I'm here with Flagstaff Mayor Jerry Neighbors, and we're here to talk about two important issues on tonight's City Council agenda.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi. Ordinance. So the relocation ordinance is on the agenda tonight. Is this necessary?
Well, this is an issue of when a developer wants to do a project and it's going to displace some renters. It could be commercial, could be residential. And do we take that into consideration in approving the developer's project? We are asking the developer possibly to submit a plan of how he will carry out the relocation issues and where the people will be moved to or what compensation they will be given for having to move.
And how will this be applied if it is approved?
Well, it could be two ways. An ordinance across the city that anytime you discontinue the use of a given property, then you have to make some kind of compensation arrangement with the people that are on that property, or it could be just in the context of a rezoning.
Okay.
So we're trying to balance those issues.
Okay. And another issue on the agenda is cell phones, and I was wondering, do you believe that the city will go along with the cell phone ban?
Well, a good question, and the county has now imposed a handheld device ban while you're in a car, and the question is whether the city will opt out of that or be bound by it or do something different. I suspect that there may be a compromise position that the city will say you can't text, but you can still talk. But speculation. We'll have a better idea after tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today, Mr. Mayor. We look forward to talking to you in the future.
Hannah, always a pleasure.
Shoals Road is getting a facelift. A portion of the road is closed throughout the month of May for construction work beginning at Forest Road 743 to the end of Forest Road 420. The project is aimed at reducing sediment transport and routing of potential floodwaters.
Next, we find out what all goes into being a Flagstaff firefighter.
And a visitor from Japan gives us his opinion on radiation.
And a special branch of law enforcement officers are celebrated and remembered.
And good evening, I'm Matt Tantow in for Lee Bourne today. Pretty windy day out there. Our wind gusts as of 5 o'clock, 25 miles per hour here in Flagstaff, 18 here at the Grand Canyon, 18 in Williams. So pretty blustery out there today. Going to continue throughout the night. The National Weather Service has just issued a wind advisory for the evening. I'll have those details plus a look at the weather for the rest of the week coming up.
I was an ordinary guy, but I switched to Suddenlink's new internet, and now I can't stop being awesome, because it's the fastest in town. Downloads, uploads, any kind of load, everything just flows, at speeds 13 times faster than phone company DSL. Even when the whole family is online, there's no buffering. With DSL, we were suffering. Yep, anything the phone company can do, I can do faster. Now that I have the next big thing from Suddenlink, now that I have a house full of easy.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Now, fire restrictions are still in effect following a weekend of rain and snow, and the Flagstaff Fire Department has had their hands full. NAZ's Tressa Tedrick tells us what all goes into a shift for a Flagstaff firefighter so that they are able to keep this community protected.
Usually, when those tones go off, somebody's having possibly the worst day of their life.
Captain Kevin Wilson has served the Flagstaff community for over 16 years. His life as a firefighter involves more than just fighting fires, but what else does Wilson's job include?
We're here for 2 days straight, and being at this station, we could run anywhere from 20 to 40 calls in that 48-hour period.
During that time, firefighters also test fire hoses and their PSI levels, train for 2 hours a day, specialize in operating teams, go on regular fire code inspections, and did I mention check every single fire hydrant in the city?
So there's a lot of things that we do besides just run calls.
When a firefighter is called out on the scene, he or she has less than a minute to get all of this gear on. So I'm going to give it a go and see how long it takes me. This goes up. Buckle, 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 buckle somewhere. Somewhere there's under here? Yeah. Okay. Whew, this is heavy. This is real heavy. Okay. All right.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
1 minute 30. Woo. Almost. This close.
A Flagstaff firefighter always anticipates the most dangerous of calls, wildfire.
The most important thing is my fire shelter.
Into a situation where the fire is coming on top of you and you can't get to a safety zone, then your last resort is to deploy this. This is like a giant little pup tent that I'll unfold. They have handles, put it over me, and I lay flat on the ground.
Wilson enjoys his downtime, still knowing he may receive an emergency call at any time.
Yeah, I mean, if we work holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving, a lot of times we'll have all our families come to the station and we'll just have a big feast on the holidays. But you don't always get to enjoy that dinner because, you know, there's still a chance we're going to get called out on an emergency call and we'll have to leave.
You know, being a firefighter is a lot more than just putting out fires and going out on emergency calls. For NAZ Today with videographer Gavin Dunham, I'm Tressa Tedrick.
Uranium mining is a controversial issue here in northern Arizona, and today Sensei Shishido, a former principal at a school 31 miles from the Fukushima power plant in Japan, came to Flagstaff to speak about the effects of radiation on a community. Jacob Larson has the story.
Sensei Shishido, a former principal at a school 31 miles from the Fukushima power plant, has come to Flagstaff to speak about his experiences and to share his thoughts on the uranium mining in northern Arizona.
Until the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant exploded, I didn't even know that there was such a problem with the uranium mining here. I had a chance to meet with someone and I heard a little bit about the problem, and I realized from our discussions that the problem here in Arizona is perhaps even larger than what we are facing in Japan with Fukushima.
Shishido wants to educate children to teach them the dangers of radioactivity in order to give them opportunities to succeed.
That's why we are going around to schools to give this message to the children, so that in the hopes that in the future they will be able to be armed with the knowledge that they can take and eventually help to solve the problems that we face now.
Shishido says this is a global issue that will take time to fix.
This is a problem that we probably will not be able to settle within our generation or the next generation, or even with the power that we have in our countries at this time.
Shishido hopes his message will take hold in northern Arizona and create change. For NAZ Today, I'm Jacob Larson.
Dogs have become known as man's best friend. Lately, however, many have developed a one-of-a-kind bond with police officers while serving side by side.
And our colleagues at Arizona Capital TV learned more about an Arizona Law Enforcement Canine Memorial in hopes to remind us that these canines are an integral part of many police departments.
Elvis is an 11-month-old dog who enjoys playing. However, this Belgian Shepherd Malinois is anything but ordinary. Officer Brian Cochran, a handler with the Mesa Police Canine Department, has been training Elvis for 6 weeks to become part of the force.
We don't typically start them on the street until they're at least 18 months to 2 years. This dog's kind of an exception to the rule because we got him so young.
After his training is complete, Elvis could encounter many dangerous situations with a high potential for death. Officer Gordon Leitz with the Mesa Police Canine Department knows all too well what it's like to lose a partner and wanted to honor the fallen heroes.
In 2004, we decided to go ahead. At the time, I was president of the Canine Association, and my goal was to establish a canine memorial for our lost partners that were killed in the line of duty.
The memorial has 26 names on its base. Officer Tim Norton, a canine handler for the Phoenix Police Department, has worked with many dogs, but he remembers one name in particular.
RJ, he was killed by a suspect. Suspect ran him over. They got in a foot pursuit of him. They chased him. He got into a car and hit the dog purposely with the car. I think it's important so that the people know, the citizens of Arizona know that, hey, not only do police officers put their lives on the line, these dogs put their lives on the line to save us. Not only handlers, but other police officers and possibly citizens outside the police department as well.
The memorial pays tribute to the fallen canines like RJ and creates a legacy for new recruits such as Elvis to follow. For Arizona Capital Television, I'm Eduardo Garcia.
Hey, we know Donald Sterling has some opinions. We'll tell you what the NBA thinks of him in sports.
And it was pretty windy here in northern Arizona today, but what does that mean for the rest of the week? We'll let you know in our full weather forecast coming up.
what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
For you.
They want to help, but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Tonight's NAZ Today weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
And good evening, I'm Matt Tantow in for Lee Bourne today. Well, let me tell you, pretty nice day in terms of temperatures, but you sure couldn't tell because of the wind. 51 was our high today, 32 our overnight low, right with our average for this time of year. Of course, way off of our normal because of that wind coming out of the north and nowhere near our records set back in 1992 and 1970. Reason why we're seeing these winds out of the northeast is because a big ridge of high pressure over California. As these winds whip around clockwise, they come over, of course, through Flagstaff, provides us sunny skies, windy conditions, cooler temperatures, but along the west coast of California, what it provides them is actually some warm temperatures. Santa Ana winds actually kicking up out there because as it comes over the Sierra Nevadas and compresses down into the lower elevation, it warms up. And so that's what the wind's doing there once it leaves Flagstaff. But for us, continued windy conditions going to continue into tonight as well. We already have a wind advisory issued for tonight, overnight until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We could see gusts as high as 35 miles per hour overnight tonight. And for tomorrow, a red flag warning continues to be in effect for the Colorado River Valley, where we'll see dry conditions and high winds as well. So dangerous conditions for one more day tomorrow in terms of the winds and the dry conditions, but things do moderate out in the next few days. Across the nation, pretty nice out west except for those winds, but of course severe weather plaguing the southeastern portion of the country. You can see here this clear bit of satellite here, sort of cloudless area, and that is a tall tale sign that there's cold air moving down. Of course, when you mix that with the warmer air from the Gulf, you get these severe thunderstorms popping out all over the country. And you can see cold air here, 37 in Rapid City, and again, 72 down in Atlanta. When you have that difference, that's where you can get some severe storms popping up, especially if you get some of those dynamics with the front moving through. As you can see currently, the southeastern regional radar shows already severe storms moving through Mississippi, Georgia, and into the panhandle of Florida. Again, for tomorrow, the big threat is going to be all along the eastern seaboard, where we could see some flash flooding, isolated tornadoes, and severe storms all the way from Washington down to the panhandle of Florida. The nice thing is in the next few days, this moves off and is no longer an issue, but they have another day of being under the gun back east. Now, for us tonight, 31 degrees, not too cold because of those winds. They're going to stay up with us, like I said, somewhere between 25 and gusting up to 35 miles per hour tonight overnight. So a windy night for tomorrow. 55, very similar to today's high. Sunny, cool, and continued wind out there from the northeast. Another day of that. And across northern Arizona, temperatures will remain fairly low again on the cooler side tomorrow throughout the Northland because of that wind. Of course, overnight lows moderate fairly nicely. Nice 87 in Lake Havasu, but it is going to be windy down there, 89 in Phoenix, and breezy. Over the next 5 days, as you can see, our temperatures do climb back up by Friday and Saturday into the weekend. The winds die off as we head into Thursday, Friday, but they do pick back up by Sunday, folks, so I'm sorry for the bad news. But I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be decent for us. And then down in Sedona, pretty nice as well. Temperatures moderate up there into the mid-80s by the time we hit the weekend. Breezy conditions return by Sunday.
So Matt, when can we expect all of this wind to ease up?
Well, you know, it is springtime in Flagstaff, so I would tell you June basically is how long we have to go until we see nice, warm, calm conditions. But breezy conditions will stay with us at least for the next few days.
All righty.
Well, I'm sure those baseball teams are loving the warm weather right now, and I'll tell you more about our baseball and softball local teams coming up.
sure to tune into NAZ Today every Wednesday at 6 and 10 p.m. for the NAZ Today Car Tip of the Week. This week brought to you by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac, located on Highway 66.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
It was a busy Monday for us here in Flagstaff yesterday, and today continues with some big news in sports regarding the banning of a specific NBA team owner. But first, let's start with some of our local sports action with our baseball and softball teams. Starting things off with the Coconino Panthers, these teams are fighting for a playoff run. After their loss to Mingus on Friday, Coconino was hoping to get back on their feet, but were down 7-2 in the third inning, but made a great comeback, getting 3 runs in the 6th and 3 runs in the 7th, getting them the 8-7 win over Paradise Valley. And moving over to the girls, the Panthers couldn't get back on their feet after their loss to Mingus, getting another loss to Paradise Valley yesterday with a 4-1 final score. Moving east over to the Eagles in Flagstaff, the boys and girls both played last night, and playoffs are beginning to be on everyone's mind. The boys baseball team expanded their win streak to 6 last night when they beat Shadow Mountain 6-3. The Eagles collected 5 of their 6 runs in the first 2 innings, giving them the comfort room they needed to take the win. And the girls team had a rough game when they faced Peoria yesterday. The Eagles were down by 3 in just the first inning and couldn't get momentum, taking a 4-0 loss. And of course, it's rivalry week for us here in Flagstaff, so be sure to check out some of those games that are going on tomorrow. Keeping it on the diamond, but moving to the different division, the Northland Prep Spartans baseball and softball teams played yesterday as well, and there seems to be a pattern here. The boys faced Red Rock and took an 8-run lead in the first 2 innings and got 3 more runs to twist the dagger and take the mercy rule, winning 11-1 in 5 innings. And the girls took on Chino Valley to try and keep their win streak going, but couldn't come out with the win and fell 6-2. So all of our boys won, but all of our girls lost. Moving up a level, we have been talking a lot about the NAU baseball team and their hopes of making playoffs, but we were told earlier that we fell just short. Senior Austin Doherty received this email yesterday. It read, "Hi Austin, it was a very tough decision, but we decided to go with Cal for the at-large bid. You had a very competitive conference and it made the decision very difficult for me yesterday, but I want to congratulate you on a great season and I hope to see you in regionals next year." And continues on about the program and how he hopes that the NAU baseball team continues to grow. So unfortunately, the Jacks will not have a postseason run this year. But keeping it on the diamond and moving up to the Diamondbacks, they started their series against the Colorado Rockies last night. And this will be my last play-by-play and sportscast with NAZ today. So let's have a little fun with it, because it seems like the Diamondbacks haven't been good in forever. Top of 6, Wade Miley on the mound for Arizona. Tulowitzki up, and here comes the heater, but he sees the ball and hits the ball. It's out of here, folks. Rockies take the lead, and you're killing it, Smalls. And just 3 batters later, Morneau asks if he wants some more, and he gets some more of something as he hits it large to center. Bye-bye, birdie. Rockies lead 7-4. Bottom of the 7th, D-backs looking to come back here. Montero hits it up the middle. Prado runs home, leaving Goldschmidt at second. Score now 7-5. Aaron Hill up with runners on first and second, and he hits into a double play. Arizona goes on to lose the game 8-5. But D-back fans, there's no crying in baseball, and the season ain't over till the lady sings. But now for a more serious matter, moving over to the court, there's been a lot going on in the NBA with Clippers owner Donald Sterling. Basketball players, political figures, and even council members have been standing up and protesting because of certain racial comments he made while having a conversation on the phone. This conversation has been under investigation.
The central findings of the investigation are that the man whose voice is heard on the recording and on a second recording from the same conversation that was released on Sunday is Mr. Sterling, and that the hateful opinions voiced by that man are those of Mr. Sterling.
With this investigation being complete and the confirmation of his voice admitting it was indeed Donald Sterling, the NBA has made its decision on the owner's punishment.
Accordingly, effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling for life from any association with the Clippers organization or the NBA. Mr. Sterling may not attend any NBA games or practices. He may not be present at any Clippers facility, and he may not participate in any business or player personnel decisions involving the team. He will also be barred from attending NBA Board of Governors meetings or participating in any other league activity. I am also fining Mr. Sterling $2.5 million, the maximum amount allowed under the NBA Constitution. These funds will be donated to organizations dedicated to anti-discrimination and tolerance efforts that will be jointly selected by the NBA and its Players Association.
$2.5 million. That's insane. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think he definitely had it coming to him, for sure.
$5 million and banned for life, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
From
what happens. Okay. Well, really quick, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast here over in Flagstaff for the next few days. Winds are going to die down, but we are in a wind advisory tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow, and a red flag warning along the Colorado River Valley tomorrow until 9 p.m. Windy conditions will once again return. But by the time we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, should be pretty nice. Temperatures moderate out into the low 70s. And then for Sunday, we'll see windy conditions return. Same story for Sedona. Should be a little breezy down there tomorrow. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, back up into the 80s. A little breezy conditions return on Sunday. So springtime here in Flagstaff, you get some windy weather and then definitely some calm weather and then some windy weather again. So
Very nice. A little bit of everything going on.
definitely. Well, that wraps it up for us tonight, folks. Have a good night.